Well, that's the question you can ask.
Well, we'll do Rosie.
I couldn't believe it. Did you hear that?
I did not, but I'm what's it was. The Panther King.
No, I can't remember what, a zoo in Arizona.
Oh, I did hear that.
Oh my God. It's like, oh, humanity is setting such
That's
perfect.
why it's totally social Darwinism.
Yes, it is. That's why they have the Darwin Society. Have you ever heard of that one?
I have.
It is.
I love that. People who intentionally take themselves seriously.
You know when there's something
Yeah, the
interesting
door
you
would
listen to.
That's funny.
Some of them
Are you gonna turn on the?
unbelievable.
I know. Have you seen those emails of the lab guys? Like, a truck about 2 wheels, like a 2x4, and they're under wheels.
You're just asking.
That's right.
That looks like an atomic clock, too. You'd think that it,
Yeah. Scare them. Call this meeting to order. It is 5:30, March 12th, 2019. May I have roll call, please?
Coker, Leone,
Here.
Materano,
Here.
Norris,
Here.
Pritchard,
Here.
Spain,
Here.
Babbitt.
Here. If there is any public comments on any issues not listed on the agenda from anyone in the public, this is your time to speak. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to approval of the minutes. The first is February 12th, 2019.
I so move.
Second.
Roll call.
Coker, Leone,
Yes.
Materano,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes.
and Babbitt.
Yes. Approval of the minutes for February 26th, 2019.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Leone,
Abstain?
Materano,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes.
Babbitt.
Yes. All right. On to the new business. It's a transfer of conditional use permit number 2016 RMS-12 to Silver Lake Holdings LLC located at 110 Santa Fe Trail, Trinidad, Colorado 81082. At this time, do you want me just to read the letter and acknowledge the letter?
Please.
So it's dated February 15th, 2019 from Silver Lake Holdings LLC. It's regarding conditional use permit number 2016 RMS-12. Dear Ms. Clark, please accept this letter as my formal request to transfer conditional use permit CUP number 2016 RMS-12, which was approved for the premise at 110 Santa Fe Trail, Trinidad, Colorado 81082, from Starry Night Management LLC to Silver Lake Holdings LLC, effective immediately. Silver Lake Holdings LLC agrees to abide by all conditions placed on the CUP at the time of approval. Very truly yours, Greg Thorson, Managing Member. The second new business is transfer of conditional use permit number 2016 RMS-20 to New View Pharma LLC located at 1400 Van Buren Street, Trinidad, Colorado 81082. And the letter is addressed, City of Trinidad, attention Audra Garrett, City Clerk, Assistant City Manager. regarding New View Pharma LLC, Laser Management LLC, change of ownership, application number 2019-001R. Dear Ms. Garrett and the City of Trinidad, please be advised that this office represents New View Pharma LLC. As part of the application licensure process for the above referenced change of ownership application, New View is aware of the fact that the City Licensing Authority requires a letter from the buyer applicant accepting the terms and conditions of Laser Management LLC's originally issued conditional use permit as amended. Please accept this letter as certification and acknowledgement that New View Pharma LLC has reviewed Laser Management LLC CUP number 2014 RMS-20 for the 1400 Van Buren Street location, and that New View hereby acknowledges and accepts those conditions outlined therein. As part of this change of ownership process, we respectfully request that Laser Management LLC's rights and responsibilities regarding this CUP be transferred along with the above referenced license. If you have any questions or comments regarding this, please do not hesitate to let me know. Very sincerely yours, Anthony P. Burke. I'd like to open the public hearing. First on the agenda is TP Main Street LLC number 2014 RMS, RMCF, RPMF, MMC, MMIPM, and OPCO-12. It's a continuation of review of conditional use permits for the retail marijuana store, a retail marijuana cultivation facility, a medical marijuana center, a medical marijuana infused product manufacturer, and an optional premise cultivation operation for the location of 821 East Main Street, Trinidad, Colorado, 81082. City staff.
Thank you, Chairman. On July 10th, 2018, TP Main Street LLC, represented by Tim Peters, appeared before the Commission for review of the conditional use permits that the Chairman just stated. During the public testimony, Mr. Peters informed the Commission the property was in litigation. Following other testimony, the Commission decided to renew the above stated conditional use permits for a 180-day period. Staff brings this hearing before the Commission again tonight, requesting TP Main Street provide updated information on the status of the litigation and conditional use permit. That's all I have.
Thank you. Do you want to add to this, Les?
If I could, please. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Commission members, good evening. Just to kind of backfill in a little bit more as well, and Ms. Clark has been wonderful in bringing me up to speed and telling me the history of this matter. If memory serves, and I believe it does, the conditional use permits for this premises, the medical marijuana CUPs were issued in July of 2014. The retail CUPs were issued by this commission in December of 2014. If I get anything wrong, please, anybody feel free to correct me. And then, as Ms. Clark was just recounting for you, this came up for review, as the review process has been going on by this commission and by staff. It came up for review before July, obviously, to get on your agenda. You reviewed it in July of 2018, and it was then when you agreed to continue this matter for 6 months. As Mr. Peters said to you, and I don't mean to repeat everything that Ms. Clark just said to you, but as Mr. Peters told you, then this matter was in litigation and he was requesting more time. So it is my understanding that the litigation continues, and that Mr. Peters, when he addresses you, is going to say essentially that, and as he has told Ms. Clark, the status is the same. And there is nothing new, and that is what you are. So normally when I appear before this commission, I have a recommendation one way or another. And I tell you what is more or less legal and what I think what the best recourse is for you in terms of avoiding liability for the city of Trinidad. I don't have a recommendation for you. You are absolutely justified in saying no. Let me begin with that. And if you decide to not allow the continuation of these conditional use permits, you're legally justified. I would emphasize, if you do decide to vote no, that you should give reasons why you're voting no. I mean, I always tell all of you and city council that, but you really have no further obligation to allow the CUPs to go forward any longer. Now, I don't want you to think by saying first that you're allowed, that you can say no, that I'm emphasizing that is what you should do this evening. I'm not. And Ms. Clark was also saying that Mr. Peters, I believe, was asking, a course for 6 more months, and that if you do, because this really technically should have been reviewed in January, so if you do, I would recommend that you go no further than July. But I just want to say, it's going to be 5 years. In July of this year, it will be 5 years on the medical. In December, it will be 5 years on the retail marijuana CPs. So that's a long time. And I am sympathetic, I am empathetic to whatever has gone on, but that's a long time to have an unfinished project. And I will sit down in just a moment, and you can ask questions of, Ms. Clark or myself, and after you hear from the applicant. But there's not a requirement or an obligation to take this any further into the future. And so does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Can you give us a little bit of an overview of what is entailed with either vote?
Well, what is entailed, you mean?
What are the ramifications for everybody involved?
Good point. And I would say that's a very good question, and I really think that bears emphasizing. If you vote to not continue this further, it's over. It's done, right? The CUP evaporates and it's gone. And because of the city moratorium on marijuana license applications, and I believe on the whole process, I don't believe that Mr. Peters is going to be able to come forward until the city is under 20, right? And then anyone can come forward for any process. But, there's no guarantee that we will be under 20 anytime soon. So he would be barred from having a marijuana facility there, or being able to go forward with his existing conditional use permits. If you grant more time, then you will be back here in July, and you will be asking him for a status report. And I don't, there are also questions about the ownership, or, and how that is constituted. I won't go down that road, at least not now. But he will be here in July, and I, would surmise that he will be saying that the litigation is ongoing.
So, from Mr. Peters' point of view, it would be easier to sell the property or transfer it with the CUPs in place. Is that right?
But again,
But you can't.
we're not ever supposed to look at a CUP as a financial
Right.
thing. We're not supposed to ever judge it by awarding it or denying it based on that.
That's true. And
I was just trying to get to what are the positive aspects of continuing it.
Right. My best answer to that, and I think it's absolutely true. You don't want to consider, things that are not relevant for your consideration.
Right,
but
right.
if a person or an entity was unable to go forward on a project, their time to sell would be before tonight, with all due respect. Because this is like the drop dead date. I mean, it was in July, and now it is in March. I mean, and so if somebody was going to do it, they should have done it, with all due respect.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Downs.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
May the applicant come forward.
Hi,
So-
I'm Tim Peters. Hey, his notes.
So pretty much, we all got the letter. It's pretty much same status as before.
No change from when we were here in
Mhm.
July. Absolutely no change. This is our legal system at work.
Would you, I know the last time we were trying to get a date on when you thought it might be resolved. Is it still kind of pretty much you have no idea?
You know, it was scheduled for the beginning of this year,
Mhm.
and then with the judge shuffle and retirements, then it got postponed, and now it's being postponed. You know, it's just the whole legal system dragging and dragging.
Tim, has anything else come up that has done anything since the last time you were before us? Nothing.
And I still have no clear title. I cannot predict how this will turn out, what will happen. I gotta be careful what I say, obviously.
understand.
You know, I mean, you guys are my friends, but, you know, I think the window is passed for this project to even ever be a grow retail facility. I think that window is closed, honestly. It's like that, 5 years ago, yeah, it was perfect. We were trying to scramble. Since this went bad, we've been doing everything we can legally to get it clarified, get it over with, get some clear title. But, man, it's tough sometimes when it gets tangled up in the court systems and people that are in bankruptcy and people with this. You can't sue, you can't do anything, they don't exist anymore, they don't have clear title. And that's what this is really coming down to.
I just,
And when you were correct, absolutely, and Les, the only benefit that I see as in even fighting a little bit for these CUPs, which you're not supposed to consider, that if there was just status quo, there was no change, if I was trying to sell it, to have those in place would be a benefit. I mean, I understand the 20, I understand the situation. Yeah, there's nothing good, there's nothing clean cut here, so. The only thing I'm gonna try to ask you is, the last time we were here, we got an extension based on, we were waiting on the court system for a trial to start, for something to start. That was, everybody's trying to get there, but it hasn't got there yet. I can't even promise you that it'd be another 180 days. We're all in line, but I can't promise you guys anything. So, you know,
Any other questions?
either way this goes, I know this project is done, you know, like that, but I still have in my head, there's ways to salvage this mess. And that's what I've been trying to do for 5 years. It's just freaking tough.
You
Oh,
said that it
did I
had
say
been,
that? Did I say that? Yes, sir.
you said that it had been postponed again. Do we have a date on that second postponement for this year?
Not exactly. All the attorneys handle that, and the court system here. You know, yeah, it's one delay after another. That's what I've learned about our court system. One delay after another.
So sorry to hear that.
You know, yeah.
That's terrible.
You know, I don't know you. You don't know me. A lot of these guys. That you know that I've been fighting to get this thing, something to happen for that long. But sometimes it gets out of your control.
That's what you
Anyway,
understand.
that's what it is. So
Thank you.
Either way, guys, I'm not going to be mad at you either way. I know what a disaster this is. Believe me, I know what a
Is
disaster
there
is.
any other
Much
questions
more
for
than you guys.
Tim? Are we okay? I think we got it answered. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
sure.
it. Is there anyone here to speak against the applicant? Is there anything you would like to add, or at this point, or close the hearing for discussion?
Well, I guess, I don't want to be perceived as speaking against Mr. Peters. I really don't. I would just say that all indications to me are he's only able to provide you with uncertainty. And that's unfortunate, and I'm sorry, but it just seems to me like, you know, the writing is on the wall. And I would say, yes, sir.
no, what I was gonna say is, and I hope I'm in the right ground to say it, Mr. Peters started that way back when. And he had a lot of money involved in there. And there was a lot of people that he hired to do some of the work along with the work that he did. And what I can say, one thing about Tim Peters, is he did not leave anybody hanging with any money. Everybody that worked on that project, from the plumbers to the concrete people to the people that did the dirt work, he paid them 100% in full. Whether it came out of his money at that time or him and his partner's money, I do not know that. But his thought was to pay everybody off,
Good point.
which he did, and I know that for a fact.
Very commendable, very commendable. But otherwise, I will leave it in your very capable hands. Thank you.
Sure.
And, close the hearing. Well, I think we've got a lot to discuss on it.
Well, I'm inclined to just cancel every one of them and be done with it.
That's where I'm at.
I think we need to expire it as well.
I just don't think.
Tony?
I totally agree. There's no activity, and that's what we go on. There's no activity at all out there.
Oh, yeah,
And,
there's no hope.
Right.
Well, and I think too, we gotta think about, we also gave an extension on another one that's gonna be coming back. And the same thing's gonna happen, in my opinion. If there's no progress, we need to start moving forward on expiring them.
That's right.
And I think this is one to start with.
I hate to see it.
May I entertain a motion?
You just did, didn't you?
I'll make the motion that we retire all of these
For expired?
CUPs, all 6 of them.
With the reason?
Thank you.
We're supposed to put a reason in there. The
The reason is the time has expired and there's no need for any more extensions. The past, in fact, the last extension is, we're overdue on that final date. And so I think the indications are that there's no point in continuing them.
Thank you.
And I just want to add, I think the fact that we don't even know who owns clear title of it, pretty puts it into a jeopardy on time frame. It could go on for years and years, and we can't allow that.
Good point.
Yeah, we should just let it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
Do we have a second
I'll,
on the
I'll
motion?
second that one.
roll call.
Leone,
Yes.
Monterano,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Yes.
Spain, Babbitt.
Yes.
And I have a document to type in.
Nothing against you, Tim.
Hey, no, can I say something real quick? If I was sitting on your side of the table, I would have voted the same way. And like I said, it is what it is. This is what it's come to. I'm not mad. I don't blame you a bit. But, David, for your question, I own it with a big lien that we can't kick. So I own it, but I can't do anything with it.
Okay.
So
Thank
you
you.
guys, thank you very much. Nice
Thank
to
you,
see you
Jim.
guys.
Thank you,
See you next
Take
time.
care. Sorry.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Tim.
it's no big. It happens.
Yep.
I guess he just lost his butt.
Who would like to read this into the record? Thank you.
City of Trinidad Planning and Zoning Variance Commission, resolution number 27. The resolution recognizing the expiration of conditional use permit 2014 RMS-12, 2014 MMC-12, 2014 MMIPM-12, 2014 RPMF-12, 2014 RMCF-12, and 2014 OPCO-12. Approved by the City of Trinidad Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission on April 22nd, 2014 and December 9th, 2014 for the operation of a retail marijuana store, a medical marijuana center, a medical marijuana infused product manufacturing, a retail product manufacturing facility, a retail marijuana cultivation facility, and an operational premises cultivational operation located at 821 East Main Street, Trinidad, Colorado. Whereas the state of Colorado, through citizens' initiative in the general election, legalized the sale of marijuana. And whereas the City of Trinidad Council, pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statute, CRS 12-43, 4-101, has established Chapter 14, Article 12 of the City of Trinidad Code of Ordinance to regulate the marijuana trade in the City of Trinidad. And whereas the city of Trinidad requires that a marijuana operation secure a conditional use permit prior to receiving a local license. And whereas the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission, prior to issuing a conditional use permit, considered safety of the operation, mitigation of any negative influences to the neighborhood, and whereas the City of Trinidad Code of Ordinances requires that the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission review any approved conditional use permits not less than once per year to ensure that conditions associated with the conditional use permit continue to be met in the operation of this business. Whereas each annual review of the conditional use permit must be done in a public hearing which has been notified in a newspaper of general circulation at least 10 days prior to the hearing, and written notice of the hearing must be sent to the permittee at least 30 days prior to the public hearing. Whereas at the end of the public hearing, or within more than 30 days, the Planning and Zoning Variance Commission shall render its decision to approve, revoke, conditional use permit either orally or in written. And whereas any conditional use permit not established within 1 year of its approval shall expire. Now therefore be it resolved by the Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission of the City of Trinidad that the conditional use permit number 2014 RMS-12, 2014 MMC-12, 2014 MMIPM-12, 204 RPMF-12, and 204 RMCF-12, along with 2014 OPCO-12, issued on April 22nd, 2014, and December 9th, 2014, to Tim Peters, TP Main Street, LLC, for the establishment of a retail marijuana store, a medical marijuana center, a medical marijuana infused product manufacturing, a retail product manufacturing facility, and a retail marijuana cultivation facility, and optional premises cultivation operation has been deemed expired. Introduced and read and adopted this 12th day of March 2019.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing for Belcher Home Daycare Center, number 2017 CUP-04, review of conditional use permit to allow for a child care center at 1004 Delmar Street, Trinidad, Colorado, 81082. Any comments from the staff?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Heather Belcher and Anna Till received approval of a conditional use permit to allow a daycare center within low-density residential zoning on March 14th, 2017. For the location of 1004 Delmar Street. The business, Peas and Pod Daycare, is fully operational and currently has 19 children enrolled, with 12 in attendance daily. They currently have 3 employees, each of which are trained in CPR and first aid. Hours of operation are 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The business is licensed through the State of Colorado Department of Human Services, Division of Early Care and Learning, and has a current city business license. Ms. Belcher and Ms. Till operate the daycare utilizing Colorado's Early Learning and Development Guidelines, a food and nutrition mentor, a curriculum mentor, and receives coaching through the Colorado Shines program, in which the daycare center earns and receives a quality rating. City staff has performed site inspections at the location, and their findings are as follows. The floor plans and outside play areas are consistent with the licensed premise plans. A building permit was issued for the addition for the daycare center. Building plans were approved by the commercial building inspector. 3 egress doors allow quick exit from the classroom and kitchen. Security alarms on each door are connected to the police department should illegal entry occur. Fire extinguishers are in place and maintained by Capalucci Fire and Safety Company. No signage has been installed at this location as yet. All conditions of the CUP approval are met. Staff recommends renewal of conditional use permit number 2017 CUP-04 for another year with annual review in March of 2020. That's all I had, Chairman.
Thank you. Someone here to speak for the applicant?
Good evening.
Good evening. Could you please just state your name?
I'm Heather Belcher, and I'm Ann Hill.
Thank you. Well, you want to tell us a little bit about your status and update on it?
Sure, yeah, well, it's actually been a whirlwind. And we haven't had much changes as far as the CUP goes. Everything's stayed the same. We haven't made any changes there, but we've done big changes within our unit as far as adding in curriculum and, you know, bringing our enrollment numbers way up. So
Okay.
that's pretty much it there.
And I was wondering, is there a way that the state gives you a more of a number, or is that just based on the square footage, or how do they come up with that 12
It's based on the square
on the
footage.
square footage?
And then
Okay.
the zoning, we are, low residential, so
It pretty much locks it in at the
it
12?
locks it in at the 12, yes.
Any questions for the applicant?
The only thing I can say is, you run a very good place up there.
Thank you.
I myself have had some comments on your place, very good.
Thank you. Good to hear. Thank you.
It looks like you're doing a terrific job.
Yes, we're definitely enjoying it. Yeah. It's different every day.
Anybody else? I think it's pretty, thank you
Thank
for
you.
everything.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak against the applicant? I'm gonna go ahead and close that hearing. I think it's pretty cut and dry, and go ahead and reapprove that CUP.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to check out on all the reports.
So
I entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we renew this conditional use permit 2017 CUP-04 for another year.
I'll second. I'll second.
Roll call?
Leoni,
Yes.
Marano,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes.
Babbitt.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to open the public hearing for F&A Auto Repair LLC number 2018-CUP-04, the review of conditional use permit to allow for an auto repair business at 1004 Dalmar Street, Trinidad, Colorado, 81082. Did I read that twice? I did.
Yeah, I know.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, I drove by, they actually fit really well together. I was surprised. I was going, daycare and auto in the same area? I mean, wait a minute.
I apologize, Chairman, I do have the wrong address there. The actual address for F&A Auto Repair is
9th Street, yeah.
East 9th.
Do you want me to read that, the right address in there?
Okay,
Okay.
please.
F&A Auto Repair LLC number 2018 CUP-04, a review of conditional use permit to allow for an auto repair business at 1104 East 9th Street, Trinidad, Colorado, 81082. Number 2018 CUP-04. Alright. Any comments from the staff?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Francisco Luna and Angelica Marquez received approval of conditional use permit to allow for an auto repair facility within low-density residential zoning on March 13th of 2018 with the location of 1104 East 9th Street, Trinidad, Colorado. The business, F&A Auto Repair LLC, is fully operational and currently has 2 employees, Francisco and Angelica. Hours of operation are from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The business is licensed through the city. Waste products such as oil, antifreeze, and metal parts are collected and recycled on a regular basis. City staff perform site inspections of the location, and their findings are as follows. The floor plans and site plans are consistent with application submitted plans. The hours of operation are consistent with the condition of approval. No signage has been installed as yet. All of the conditions of the CUP approval are met. Staff recommends renewal of conditional use permit 2018 CUP-04 for another year with annual review in March of 2020. And that's all I had.
Thank you. Someone speak for the applicant.
Hello, Chairman. My name is Francisco Luna. We're the owners of F&A Auto Repair. A year ago we started and it hasn't stopped. It's really good. I mean, it's good business. They're doing good by the community, taking care of things and getting it done, and I'm happy that you guys let us open our business.
Nice. Business is growing all the time, huh?
Growing more sometimes than I wanted to.
That's awesome, brother.
Excellent news.
The only thing I was wondering about, and I know they advised you about, is the security system. I just, you know, I'd really hate for somebody to break in and steal all your tools, Brian, so I'd maybe seriously look into it.
I'm going to talk to Vivint about putting an alarm in the building.
Yeah.
But my son, for my birthday, which was March 2nd, bought me cameras and a
Perfect.
and a setup that I have it actually hooked up. I could show you the video right now on the building.
Well,
So,
it's you know, it's not needed just to protect you, and I think, you know, with all the crime going on, so I know when you spend thousands on your toolbox, you know what I mean, it gets pricey.
yeah, even the insurance, they
Oh yeah.
snap-on tools,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
well, we price those.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't have anything else.
I don't have anything else. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I think you've been doing a good thing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No, I'm good with it.
Thank you.
Stanley, thank you.
Anyone speak against the applicant? I'd like to. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Don't get up.
Be a cool night.
I'd like to close the hearing. I think it's cut and dry again, and we'll see them in a year.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll make a motion then to approve, number 2018-CUP-04.
Second?
Roll call.
Leoni,
Yes.
Monterano,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes.
Betty.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, on to training, which there is none, which I'm excited about tonight.
Yeah. No.
And then, on to reports, I really don't have anything to say, except I think, you know, I said it earlier when we did expire the one, that I think now's the time that we're gonna have to start sticking to our guns and
I agree.
and finding reasons, especially after 3, 4, 5 years coming back.
I think our rule here is a year.
Yeah.
And I think we've given everybody a chance that we've come,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Peters, along with a lot of other ones that have come before us. And I think it's time that we start doing what we're supposed to do up here.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're growing as a board. I feel pretty good about
Oh, yeah.
how we've been moving forward. That's all I have to say.
Mhm.
Me too.
And do you have anything tonight?
Just a short one.
Okay.
First of all, I wanted to thank you all. I wasn't here at the last meeting you all held, this second meeting of the month of February, and I really do appreciate you all agreeing to hold that meeting. And I also want to thank Mr. Gutierrez for filling in for me. I heard he did a great job. At the last meeting, Tara Marshall announced that she'd be leaving, and she discussed that all with you. So I just wanted to let you know that I'll be here. You know, any questions, call on me at any time. If it's a question over an application that I've uploaded documents, if I can't answer the question, we'll get you in touch with Carrie McCool. We can arrange a phone conference call, go over that specifically till all your questions are answered. We didn't have training tonight, but Ms. Marshall has talked with Carrie McCool, and I believe the next 2 meetings she'll be coming down and doing training. Specific training. I know some of you haven't met Carrie McCool. She has McCool Development Solutions out of Denver, and she's the one that writes most of the staff reports you received.
Thank goodness for Ms. McCool.
Over the past couple of years, I've done the vacates and variance staff reports, but the more detailed, the conditional use permits, annexations, things of that nature, Carrie McCool writes those. So some of you know Carrie real well and have a lot of confidence in her. So she'll be here the next 2 meetings, and please call on me at any time.
Well, I I'm sure I speak for everybody. I think we have great confidence in you moving forward, so we'll be fine.
I appreciate that. I won't always be able to answer off the top of my head like Ms. Marshall could, but we'll get you an answer.
I think you had a good teacher.
Yes.
It's gonna be
And
great.
the thing is, I think during the time Tara was here, she set up a lot of procedures, and I think, you know, we can
We
just
follow
continue
that.
with the things she set up, so.
I agree.
Is Victor going to be sitting with you?
Yes, he's just ill. He's been ill the past 2 days.
Oh, okay.
So he will normally be here, so Victor and I, and at times, city manager Greg Sund will be here at times, and, you know, if we need Les Downs, at any time we'll have him here as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Thank
Do you have
you.
any questions for me? Okay, thank
On
you
we
all.
go.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks for being here too, Greg. It's nice. It is.
Can I just say something quick?
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for taking the action on that permit, the conditional use permit, and really encourage you to keep doing this, because I agree with what you've been saying tonight. They're hanging out there way too long. It makes it look like we have a whole bunch of licenses we don't have. And so when people do a little bit of light research, which tends to be how it's done today, they tell us we've got way more active licenses than we do. And so it'd be better form of communication to actually reflect what's out there.
I agree.
Thank you.
That's what we're up here for.
Yep. No, it is. It's time. Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting adjourned.
I'm gonna get you a rubber hammer.
I'm used to swinging a shit out of hammer. Yeah. I know.